Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome back for the poem of the day on today, September 26, 2025, and it's a Friday. Happy Friday to everyone for whom this means the end of the work week or the school week. I almost just kind of accidentally slipped into, I was very fond of David Lynch, the filmmaker and artist who passed away, what has to be about a year now. And he would do videos, daily videos about the weather report, where he would just look out the window and kind of describe the weather. And when he got to the Friday ones, he would always say, and if you can believe it, it's a Friday once again. And so as I was announcing Friday with some jubilation, I thought of Dear David, may he rest in peace. It's fitting that that popped into my head because today's poem from Elizabeth Bishop's collection, Geography 3, is about loss. And this is maybe her most famous poem, her most anthologized poem. I would say it's this or In the Waiting Room, which is the first poem in this collection. And so, it's interesting looking at that some other, maybe her third most famous poem maybe is The Moose, and we read that one in this collection as well. It's like having an album where your three most well-known songs all appear on that same album. Not to mention other poems that we've read and looked at through this collection that are, I think, stunning and elegant and excellent. But One Art is one that, even if you don't know Bishop, you might have come across this poem before and maybe did not know who she was or kind of how it fit into her greater project. So I'm going to read this poem and say a few things about it, and then see you all off to enjoy the remainder of your day here. So this is One Art from 1977 by Elizabeth Bishop. The art of losing isn't hard to master. So many things seem filled with the intent to be lost that their loss is no disaster. Lose something every day. Accept the fluster of lost door keys, the hour badly spent. The art of losing isn't hard to master. Then practice losing farther, losing faster. Places and names, and where it was you meant to travel. None of these will bring disaster. I lost my mother's watch. And look, my last, or next to last, of 3 loved houses went. The art of losing isn't hard to master. I lost 2 cities, lovely ones, and vaster, some realms I owned, 2 rivers, a continent. I missed them, but it wasn't a disaster. Even losing you. The joking voice, a gesture I love. I shan't have lied. It's evident the art of losing's not too hard to master, though it may look like, write it, a disaster. Whew. A beautiful, emotional, elegant, delicate poem. This one's a villanelle, and I've talked about villanelles before on my channel on this series. A villanelle has 19 lines, 5 tercets, so that's 5 stanzas of 3 lines in them, and then a final quatrain. And the rhyme scheme goes A, B, A, 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 A. Throughout this poem, I don't think all villanelles only have 2 end rhymes. They all have that, like, A, B, A, and then C, D, C, like that, but I don't think they all go just A, B, A. So there is, I think, a preservation and a preciousness within the structure of this poem that's really important. The desire to, hole up things that are leaking away and things that are being lost. Something else that is characteristic of a villanelle is the repetition of a line several times, giving it new or different context. And in this case, Bishop almost uses it as a refrain because it appears more than just twice. And sometimes at the end of one of the tercets, the line of I'm referring to, of course, is the first line of the poem. The art of losing isn't hard to master. Throughout the progression of this poem, it begins with the abstract thought that there are some things that seem to have their intent to be lost, that it's a part of kind of their nature contained within them that you know you're going to lose it. For my brother growing up, it was sunglasses. He's gone through dozens of pairs of sunglasses to the point now that he just buys them sort of in bulk because they're gone all the time. For me, it's bookmarks. I can never hold on to a bookmark, and I won't fold the pages of my book because I'm not a barbarian, but I now just use flashcards a lot of the time because, again, they come in bulk and they're not that expensive. And then after that, you have those things that fluster you, right? You're losing time in the morning and you can't find your car keys, or you can't find your cell phone, or you can't find your wallet, or hours badly spent, and I think this is, again, even more relevant to us now. Bishop, of course, would not have known anything about social media at the time, but I don't have TikTok, but I hear a lot of people talking about they'll open up TikTok and then they look up and it's been 90 minutes because they've just watched video after video after video. And it's, if you're relaxing and unwinding, perhaps not a bad way to spend your time. But if you're feeling as though, oh no, I should have done something, or oh, I didn't get that much out of it, there's your hour badly spent. And then around the third tercet here, things become graver and heavier. I believe she begins talking about aging. The losing goes back further, and it seems to come faster to you, places and names, and then places you wish to travel. So the things that when you were younger, you made these plans. I think of perhaps the film Up, and that they were always going to go to Paradise Falls, but life got in the way. I was speaking just with my students earlier, and they were asking what my middle school experience was like. And I can remember brief snapshots. There were 23 kids in my class that I went to school with for about 9 years. I don't think I could name them all now. Maybe if I tried really hard, but those names are starting to fade away. Even students, I've been teaching 12 years, and at this point have likely taught around 1,000 students. And prompted, maybe I could recall them, but I couldn't list them all now. And so people begin to lose those things. It becomes more serious, I think, as we get older, just with the sheer amount of information that we hold on to, but also as people begin to, age into their elderly age, their advanced or late age, where you might lose track of people who are very important and dear to you. But then we're reassured that none of these will bring disaster. So with that reminder, we kind of wonder what would bring disaster. And then there's important things in here, things that were important to the speaker: the mother's watch, the 3 houses, right? So places you used to live. I remember early in, after I had gotten a new place to live, and taking a friend back to just drive past my old house that I grew up in, and it was completely different. It wasn't kept the right way. It wasn't kept the way that it was when we were growing up, and it's still there. Some people, the house they grew up in is no longer there, but it feels like that is something else that you've lost. I don't recommend ever doing that because you can allow it to live in your mind in a kind of perfect state, but there's an important realization that things move along and it isn't my house anymore. And then this person begins speaking about losing cities, losing rivers, losing a continent. They're losing vast stretches and vast spaces of the entire world that's here, which again, to me, I think is just another way of referencing losing your own faculties and moving kind of towards death. Otherwise, why would the speaker feel as though they have a claim on those things? Or perhaps what they're talking about here is even though we're still in the I, maybe they're speaking from a collective subject. and that we're losing certain parts of the world through separation or through destruction or through alienation. I'm not really sure. It might be both, or it might be something else entirely. Excuse me. And then this quatrain hits like a ton of bricks. There's an M dash at the beginning, which indicates a pause, but it doesn't indicate a pause at the end of a line like Dickinson would do a lot, which you end the line, you wait, and then you get to the next thought. This is at the beginning of the next thought, so it's contained within that line where the thought appears, but the pause, to me, instead of thinking of something to say on the next line, has the expression that the speaker wants to say, but they need time to be able to adequately express it. It's like, I'm going to say something and this is hard to say. And the thing that's hard for them to say is even losing you, which I'm reading as a lover. The joking voice, the gesture that I love, I shan't have lied. With that line, I shan't have lied, I'm suspecting, that something happened between the two of them that caused a breakup, that caused a loss. I think it also works as losing a lover in terms of someone losing their memory or someone dying. As you look back through the parenthetical of the joking voice, the gesture I love, and I love the way that Bishop uses parentheticals in this poem because they're quick kind of subconscious thoughts, things like a stream of consciousness that doesn't quite make it to utterance, but is something that pops up in your head as soon as we say you. Those two important things with the joking voice and the gesture I love just pop right back in as kind of an involuntary memory. And then we get that reassurance again at the end of it with the combination of the two lines that have been repeated throughout the villanelle. It's evident the art of losing's not hard to master, though it may look like a disaster. But again, we get this lovely parenthetical that breaks up. It may look like disaster. So there's the repetition of the like in there suggests, just like the M dash, this is a line that's difficult to say. This is a line that's going to be difficult to write. And so within that parenthetical, there's a italicized write it exclamation point. So it's like the writer's own voice inside their head saying, no, it's important for you to put this down. It's emotionally taxing. It's something that you're maybe trying to get out of because you don't want to commit it to paper and to admit it and to bring it to the front of your mind and to record it. But you need to remind yourself, you need to put this down. You need to speak it into being. And I understand the part where it looks like a disaster. I don't understand why it's not. It's evident the art of losing is not hard to master, though it may look like disaster. The earlier times it says these will not bring disaster. Their loss is no disaster. It wasn't a disaster. The last iteration of it suggests it looks like disaster, but by saying it looks like, it never actually negates that it's not a disaster. It just says it looks like it resembles one, which suggests it isn't one, but the writer doesn't actually say it isn't one. So I think there's a tension within that line of the speaker trying to commit to it's not a disaster, but they also can't. That's the thing, perhaps, that they can't write. And I just love the tension in this poem of being able to see the speaker kind of struggling to compose this because the things that they're talking about, this loss, is so profound that it's difficult for them to put into words. It's just an amazing poem, and as per usual, there's far more to say. But I think that'll be it for today for me. If there's something in there that you would like to respond to, I'd love to hear from you again. And we will continue with Elizabeth Bishop tomorrow. Thank you again for joining us. I wish you all a lovely day, and may peace be with you.